Law Enforcement Agency. The first agency is the PDEA, stands for Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency. It is a regular law enforcement and regulatory agency which is responsible for the efficient and effective law enforcement of all provisions on any dangerous drug and or controlled precursors and essential chemicals. So, ito ang ahensya na nagpapatupad ng batas laban sa bawal na gamot. So, the PDEA is the lead anti-drug law enforcement agency. So, responsibilidad nila na i-control ang bawal na gamot dito sa Pilipinas. The second one is the Bureau of Customs. So, to supervise and control all import and export cargoes landed or stored in piers, airports, terminal facilities, including yards and freight stations for the protection of government revenue. Exercise exclusive original jurisdiction over seizures and forfeiture cases under the tariff and customs laws. So the third one is the BFP. Stands for Bureau of Fire Protection. So it is responsible for ensuring public safety through the prevention or suppression of all destructive files and buildings, houses, and other similar structures, forest and land transportation, vehicles and equipment, ships or vessels docked at piers, wharves, or anchored at major seaports, petroleum industry. So, the BFP is, ito ang responsibilidad nila na maging hero. Sagipin ang bumangga sa mga apoy, is responsible for the provision of fire services. So, malaki ang kanilang responsibilidad dito sa Pilipinas. So, the fourth one is the PCG or the Philippine Coast Guard. It is a civilian armed uniformed service attached to the Philippines Department of Transportation, tasked primarily with enforcing laws within Philippine waters. So the next one is the BIR or the Bureau of Internal Revenue. It's an agency of Department of Finance. BIR collects more than the half of the total revenues of the government. So to assist and collect all national internal revenue taxes, fees and charges, and to enforce all forfeitures, penalties, and fines connected with therewith, including the execution of the judgments in all cases decided in its favor by the Court of Tax Appeals and the Ordinary. So BIR. So the BIR reduction and collection of all internal revenues, taxes, fees, and charges are BIR responsible for. So, ang BIR, dito natin malalaman about kung may tanong tayo about sa taxes, sila yung nag-handle sa ahensyang ito. The next one is the COMELEC. So, the Commission on Election. It is an independent constitutional body mandated to enforce and administer all laws and regulations relative to the conduct of elections, plebiscite, initiative, referendum, and recall for the purpose of ensuring free, orderly, peaceful, and credible elections. So, COMELEC, responsible for elections. So, sila yung nagdadala or humahandle. At dito, at ang COMELEC din ang nagsisilbing daan para yung elections ay ano, hindi para yung election matiwasay at walang walang masamang mangyayari. Like, kasagara man gud sa election kay kanang gubot bitaw kayo. So, mao tong naay usa ka ahensya nga silbi magkuan sa murag silbi sila magdala sa kuan para sakto ang dagan sa pag-vote ug sakto ang dagan sa election. So the next one is the PPA, stands for Philippine Ports Authority. So it is the primary government agency concerned with the planning and development of the country's seaports. So the agency, through its network of regional and field parole and provision offices, performs the following functions. So, to administer the parole and probation system, to exercise supervision over pardones, and probationers, to promote the correction and rehabilitation of criminal offenders. So, the next one is the BI, or the Bureau of Immigration, also known between 1972 and 1987 as the Bureau of Immigration and Deportation, is the immigration regulatory and control body of the Philippines. So the Bureau of Immigration is responsible for the administration and enforcement of immigration, citizenship, and registration laws in accordance with the provisions of the Philippine Immigration. So it is also known as the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act of 2003. So the next one is the LTO, or the Land Transportation Office. It is an agency of the Philippine government under the Department of Transportation, responsible for all land transportation in the Philippines. So the LTO is the LTO's function is include the inspection and registration of motor vehicles and permits enforcement of land transportation rules and regulations and adjudication of traffic cases. So sila yung responsibilidad sa transportation. So the next one is the Department of Interior and Local Government, or the DILG. So it is the executive department responsible for promoting peace and order, ensuring public safety, and strengthening the capability of local government units to effectively deliver basic services to the citizenry. So the DILG, it is an executive department of the Philippines. So ito ang kagawaran ng interior at pamalaang lokal. So next is the Department of Labor and Employment, or the DOLE. Is the national government agency mandated to formulate policies, implement programs, and serve as the policy coordinating arm of the executive branch in the field of labor and employment. So the DOLE promotes gainful employment opportunities and optimizes the development and utilization of the country's manpower sources. So next is the Department of Finance, or the DOF, is the government's steward of sound fiscal policy. It formulates revenue policies that will ensure funding of critical government programs that promote welfare among our people and accelerate economic growth and stability. So, DOF in Filipino kagawaran ng pananalapi. So, it is responsible for the formulation, institutionalization, and administration of fiscal policy. So, it is a government. So, the National Bureau of Investigation, or the NBI, undertakes efficient detection and investigation of crimes under and other offenses against the laws of the Philippines upon its own initiative and as public interest may require, renders technical assistance upon request in the investigation and detection of crimes and others. So NBI shares the goal of the PNP to put an end to the illegal drugs problem in the country. The next one is the BGMP, or the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. So, it's mandated to direct, supervise, and control administration and operation of all district, city, and municipal jails nationwide with prompt task of safekeeping and development of PDL. So that's all. Thank you and God bless.